Hey, guys.
Hey.
How are we doing today?
Romeos.
Welcome, boys.
Welcome.
Around the table again in Romeo World Headquarters.
Everybody in
Exactly.
top form?
Always.
Excellent. And to all our viewers, thank you for joining. Appreciate it.
Okay.
That's it?
And then the second part of
That's
it will
it?
come in a few seconds.
They should get off their asses and subscribe. Like and subscribe.
Predictable.
Thank you.
Thank you. Predictable.
All right. With Nuran's kind welcome out of the way,
Cheers.
all the best. Guys, how about we take this opportunity to talk about holidays and more specifically whether or not they've lost their meaning?
Oh, wow.
Good one.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
The answer is hell yeah.
Okay.
Are we starting with Christmas?
With Christmas.
Well,
Well, why don't we start, Aki, with having you define what a holiday is, and then we'll take it from there.
Holiday is time off and get off the rat, get out of the rat race and celebrate the important things in your life.
Okay, so why don't
We agree with that?
why don't we further define our holidays
Go ahead.
as Christmas time,
Yeah.
more or less, because it used to be
Stress marathon.
Well, okay. So yeah, let's step back for a second. I mean, initially, December 25th, birth of Christ, apparently. Whether you believe that or not, that's up to you. But that was the beginning, if you will, of what Christmas is about. So it was about a religious holiday that turned into a fiasco of expenses and free-for-all for gifts and giving and all this other stuff. And it's all been messed up and jumbled up today into what we have, which is essentially the best time for retail businesses.
Commercialism orgy.
Correct. Oh, well said. Exactly.
Yes.
Or consumerism orgy.
Exactly.
So you hit on a couple of things.
I did.
So most holidays, if I'm not mistaken, have their origins in some kind of religious celebration.
Typically. Yeah.
Whether it's Christian
Or independence or something like that. Country's independence or workers unite or something.
whether it's Christian, Islamic, Jewish, you name it.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
They all seem to be rooted in some form of religious celebration
Yep. A lot of them are, yep.
or observance rather than celebration, because they're not all about celebrating.
Yep.
And you're suggesting, certainly in the case of Christmas, and perhaps it goes further, that consumerism has taken away a lot of the meaning and tradition behind these so-called holidays.
Yeah, it's rampant. I mean, I don't
Hear,
think
hear.
anyone can disagree with that statement. I would hope not.
Well, certainly for Christmas. I mean, being Christian, we have two big holidays, Christmas and Easter. So Christmas, obviously, when I was a kid, it wasn't that bad. Nowadays, yeah, it's just, spend. But there's always family time, which is nice. Easter is better when it comes to that. It's not as commercialized, and there is family time. So I think,
Yeah, Easter's my favorite one.
yeah.
Easter's the one that feels the most authentic. I mean, regardless of what you believe, it's just the one where you really get to spend some quiet time and really enjoy people, as opposed to Christmas becoming just an endless marathon of shopping and obligations.
But that's a personal decision. I mean,
No, that's the norm now.
Yeah, but
that's the norm. That's
we-
the expectation,
we
right?
just-
And one of the things, sorry to interrupt you, but one of the things that I don't miss is, since retiring, having to deal with the Christmas, the whole celebration and the holidays, at the office and people that didn't want to participate and
but
trying to
the office
put
is
on a brave face and inspire people. All of that, it's not supposed to be that way.
But actually,
Are you jaded?
Just a little bit.
at the office,
Did that come out?
Just a little.
At the office, you're not really celebrating Christmas. You're celebrating a year of work. The financial.
Well, no, the Christmas holiday. I mean,
Yeah,
the
but
holiday, dinner event.
you do
Wasn't
it-
that always a big deal?
You do it then.
And everybody's got, I don't know, don't get me started. Everybody's got too much on their plate. I don't have time to do the holidays. One example.
Hold on, you're covering so much ground.
Yeah.
I need to stop you in your tracks and ask a
God.
couple of
Oh
questions.
my God.
Aki, you made a comment which caught my attention. You talked about Easter as being, to this point, still the most authentic. And then you went on to describe a whole bunch of things which, frankly, have nothing to do with the authenticity of what Easter is.
Yeah.
So I don't understand. And then I have another question.
Right.
After you tackle that one. I'm listening to both you, Dominic and Aki, And it seems to me that it's the Christian holidays that have been targeted by consumerism more than any other religious
Oh,
holidays.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Because I don't hear the same things, certainly not to the same degree, where other faiths are concerned.
Well, no, but Hanukkah is turning into that with the 8 days of gift giving and all this other stuff now.
Have always been.
Yeah, but now it's become a bit more commercial, in my opinion, anyway.
Well, I suppose.
Because they want to, and now the Jewish faith wants to, compete against the Christian faith with, hey, we can give gifts too, right?
That's a good point, Pat. Yeah, you're right. It is the Christian holidays, which, I mean, in our case, because, the three kings brought presents to Jesus Christ, and they use that as
Allegedly.
well.
Were you there?
We did all this. We did all this before.
Sorry.
Let's not repeat our podcast.
Allegedly, yes. Okay. They
Right.
followed a star. Yes.
Well, he's entitled to his opinion.
Yeah, it's okay. I mean,
It's good.
So Easter,
It's
what
a
do you
good
want to
story.
know? So to go back to your comment about what I said about Easter.
Well,
So-
it's just that you singled out Easter as being the most
So let me explain
authentic.
right, authentic in the sense that just the fact that you don't have any commercialism, in the sense that
And the Easter bunny.
well, no, I mean
Gets
that's
reborn,
not
is
to the
that it?
same level. Some chocolates,
Yeah.
that's
it's low key.
it's low key, exactly. Yeah, well, no,
Yeah,
isn't
Easter,
it?
yeah.
Easter
Isn't it?
egg hunts for the kids.
If you
all
choose
the bunnies
to do that,
you have to
The-
get,
the-
you have to get little bunnies for everyone, for all the little
you did
kids.
that. So who did that? Who actually did Easter egg hunts?
I'm
and
pretty
so
sure
forth?
Lint wants everybody to do it.
Oh my God! But it doesn't. It's not.
We
it's not
did
to the
for
same
our
extent.
kids, absolutely.
It's not
We did-
to the same
Yeah,
extent.
We did the Easter egg hunts in the house.
It was an Easter egg.
Absolutely.
It wasn't the same level.
All right, but it's still. It's not. It's,
We didn't have the Jesus resurrection eggs. We had the Easter eggs.
Yeah. Well, look, Greek Orthodox, and I love our tradition around Easter.
Yeah, because it's always off by a week.
That's
Off,
different.
but
That's
off- hold on. When you say off
it's true.
what?
Different calendar. Different calendars.
Well, but so that's the other thing. If you're
Right.
Orthodox, it's a different
Different
calendar.
calendar.
No, only
Correct.
Greek Orthodox, because Armenian Orthodox is usually with the rest.
no, but
that's
the
all
Russians,
messed up.
Eastern European,
For all?
Eastern European,
Sometimes.
most European
Sometimes,
Orthodox,
not always.
Yeah, Eastern European Orthodox. It's all the same.
depends
calendar.
on the moon.
Not you guys, because once again, I don't know. You guys.
So which calendar do you
guys
base
are just
yourself off?
misfits.
Why would you say that?
Well, he's making fun of
not
our
making-
calendar.
I don't
picks.
think it's fun as much
Okay.
as a statement of fact.
So-
It's an observation.
So
Exactly.
Easter,
Thank you.
okay. So let's look at Easter. You brought up Easter. So Easter, I'm explaining to you. To me, it's a lot more relaxed. It's a lot more. You have more time. It's more meaningful. You have time to, quality time to spend with people that you care about. There's less pressure, and there's a much smaller to-do list.
Let me ask you another question. If you
Actually,
had,
that's not true because I don't do very much about that. So you have to ask Diane that
Actually-
question. So I take that back. No, the to-do list is significant for
What-
Orthodox Easter. But yes, you were saying.
I'm just saying, any long weekend gives you the opportunity to spend time with family. So you have a Friday off and a Monday off for Easter.
Yeah.
And for Christmas, you have an extra couple of days off as well. And it's just a norm that's come out of like, hey, this is this day. How about Thanksgiving in the U.S. when everyone?
Well, it's the same thing. It's exactly the same thing.
right.
Yeah.
No, actually, it's not the same thing. I believe,
But it's
I
not a
believe
religious holiday. But look, everyone
it's
gets
not.
together.
Well, in fact,
Yeah.
more so
Very
than any other
commercialized.
holiday in the U.S.
Exactly.
Very
so
commercialized.
it is, but it's become a norm. It's like all of a sudden tomorrow, if we have a mass hypnosis across the world, and January 15th becomes a day where everyone has to get together, and then everyone says, "Oh, January 15th is the day. Let's all get together." It's like a day was chosen, and then because it became fashionable, or people wanted to get together or use that day as the excuse to get together, it just became the day it is. Our holidays now, the Christmas holidays, as they call it, it's the same thing. It's now become a gift-giving bonanza. Retailers love it. Commercialism is off the charts. It's all about getting together. It's about giving. It's about giving. It's about giving.
Actually, I think it's about buying more than it is giving.
Exactly.
Well, you have to buy to give.
But,
Well,
you know,
but I think it's more about buying.
Yeah, and that's the way it's been. It's been positioned. The
So again,
advertisers
it's consumerism to the nth degree.
and advertising and all of the
But you're
strength
right.
of Madison Avenue, which I don't know if it exists anymore.
it's all personal choices. Families can choose not to give.
They can, but think about the social pressures that are
I
rampant.
don't think is.
You have kids who are not of the Christian faith getting gifts from their parents because it's Christmas time. I'm fairly sure a lot of Jewish kids get Christmas gifts.
So-
it's like, so they're not left out.
So-
right? That's like, does that make sense?
Well, it does, and I'll tell you why.
Thank you.
Let me explain.
Perfect.
Although Christmas is rooted in Christian tradition, religious tradition, Christmas means different things to people who are not of the Christian faith.
Okay.
So I grew up in a household where no religion was practiced, yet we celebrated Christmas. And for us as young kids, Christmas was about the whole notion of Santa Claus and a lot of the man-made myths and stories that go around Christmas that have nothing to do with religion.
Okay.
And most importantly, it was a time for family and extended family to get together, share a meal, share stories, share laughs. And it became an opportunity for the entire family to get together
Okay.
and have a great time.
Yeah. So it started in the basis of get together.
And gifts were exchanged, but in the spirit of something other than religious faith.
And you didn't feel any
Which
pressure.
is for most people these
And I
days.
believe that Christmas has that meaning for a lot of people today.
Yeah.
And it's a good meeting. It's a good meeting.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's
it's a good thing. I mean, families get together. Obviously, sometimes things don't end well, but most of the time it's a good thing.
But is there pressure? I mean, that's the key
well,
question.
think about all the
Of
people
course
that
there's pressure.
spend
Well, that's-
the money that they don't have on credit cards and on debt because they feel obliged to buy gifts for a bunch of people.
I guess my point is a meaningful holiday should not involve pressure. There should be a flow to it. There should be something that people
Absolutely.
can relate to,
Absolutely.
and that's it.
Well, it's an interesting thought,
It's the right thought,
but
I
it's,
think.
but it's not how most people behave.
Well,
So
that's,
in our case, many years
exactly.
ago, we decided as a family with my sisters, no more gifts except for the kids,
Yeah, we did that at some point
Yes.
as well.
until the kids reach what age?
teens. So,
yeah.
Okay.
yeah.
30 teens, 40 teens, 50 teens.
13. 13.
Oh, 13. Okay.
Okay. So after the bar mitzvah, it was over.
Well, because at some point, I mean,
Bat mitzvah.
for
sorry.
myself, and we have everything that we need. You start getting these things that you don't need. And just to put it,
Dominic.
just to put in a garage sale.
It long ago stopped being about what you need.
Oh God.
yeah, it's just that it becomes ridiculous. So,
Yeah.
but just for the kids, and today it's the same thing. I mean,
Yeah.
Our kids were desensitized because, especially my first daughter, who was the first kid in both
Yeah.
sides. So all of a sudden,
Yeah.
all the grandparents, first child, it's
Yeah.
like,
Oh, I can imagine.
it's
the
like-
windfall for her.
well, yeah, and then she would be like shell
expectations.
shocked. No, but she'll be shell shocked because it's
Yeah.
like one gift after another, and it's like she opens one, she likes it. It's like, oh, now open the next one, and now the
Right.
next one, and it's like there's like 30 gifts on the ground. It's like,
Oh, yeah.
and we didn't know what to do with them because then,
Well, that's a Christmas that we are cynical of.
well, that's it, and that's
But
exactly
we're guilty.
and we're
Of
guilty
course.
as well,
We were-
100%.
I'm not. I think we've
100%.
wisened up now, haven't we? Especially now that we're retired.
It's not- No.
Because it's a long time.
it's not
No.
No, we still
Well, you have-
we still play the game.
Yeah.
Well, my ex has an interesting way of doing things because, and shout out to her. Thanks for inviting me again. It's nice to be with the family during Christmas.
After she watches
thank
this,
you.
you may be uninvited.
Exactly.
We thank you.
She is a sweetheart, I gotta say. Knock on wood.
Taking care of Romeos is so important. Taking good care of Romeos is very important. Well done. That's the holiday spirit.
She's a sweetheart. She has super heart. Anyway, so what she's done in the past few years is Secret Santa. So
Yeah.
everyone
We're doing it this year.
That's it.
It's the first time.
A gift $40 to $50.
Exactly.
No booze, whatever. Like she put a few things around it and said, okay, everyone buys a gift, put it all into a bag. You draw gifts and whatever. And I think there's a way where you could steal a gift from someone else or something.
Yeah, yeah.
If your name is called after, and so it's like it
becomes a game.
It becomes a game, exactly. And then there's also extra gifts that you play a game to get and
Yeah,
stuff
and
like
then
that.
that too. There's a downside to that. If somebody is a little too proactive and steals from everybody all the time, there's some resentment. So
It's good. It's good. It's good to have a fight every once in a while.
Yeah. Some tension there too. So
too complicated.
Okay, so you just answered, Pat. You said that we're still. I just want to explore this further. We are still very much. We are influenced by the Christmas craze, the commercial orgy, the consumerism. Are we all four of us? Are we still playing that game, or have we taken a step back and found a different way of celebrating?
Well, we've taken.
I've taken a step back for sure.
Have you? Okay.
Yeah, because I used to buy gifts for a bunch of people, and now it's really down to very close. Like, you know, I'll my list is very, very small at this point because it's just the kids, and the kids are easy because I just give them money because that's what they want. So that's easy. It's an e-transfer and they or a Venmo or whatever, and then with a nice message, and that's about it.
You know my email address, right?
I do, yeah. and a bottle of booze for let's say my brother and his wife.
Never want to be shy, Dominic.
We have to cover that in this podcast. It's important.
Don't get him pistachios.
How about you, Pat? I'm not sure. I thought I heard you say
Blue
that
Label,
you
Blue
still
Label.
feel like you're really in the thick of it. You're influenced by the commercialism. And
Well, first
consumerism.
of all, I'm not the sole member of my family, so I have certain opinions, strong opinions.
Okay.
About things.
You want to take a pass?
No, I'm not going to take a pass. But I also respect that certain elements of the tradition are meaningful to others. So, Lisa and I have this conversation, I would say every year, it seems, for the last 5 or 6 years about, okay, have we reached a point where it's beyond ridiculous? And the resounding answer is yes.
Yeah.
And when it comes time to talk about, okay, so then we should stop these practices. We can maintain others. But since it's ridiculous, why don't we stop? Well,
Yeah, no.
let's revisit it next year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So even something as silly as stocking stuffers, like for us, the stockings will still come out and they'll be stuffed mostly with things that are similar to what was purchased last year and not fully consumed. And it gets ridiculous.
Yeah, and the dog
So-
is going to have
so-
a stocking as well, right?
Oh, no question.
There you go. So you're going to have a stocking for the dog.
So I would say for me, personally, to the point you made earlier, Dominic, about at a certain point when the kids reach a certain age, enough is enough. So I reached that point many, many years ago. I'm not going to say in their teens, but let's say by their early 20s, I'd reached a point where I thought, this is ridiculous. And for me, it's the pleasure of having everybody sitting at the table, sharing a meal that a lot of good intention and thought has gone into preparing for everyone, to everyone's enjoyment, sharing stories, sharing laughs, and celebrating in that way.
Yeah.
Bravo.
But it continues to be much more than that in our household, where there's still an awful lot of signs of consumerism to the nth degree.
You didn't switch to cash?
Oh yeah,
There you go.
but the cash is an addition, so there have to be gifts.
Exactly.
There have to be
So there-
wrap. Yes, there have to be gifts
okay.
that get unwrapped and opened. And,
Yeah.
Right, and so Lisa has set a ceiling on the amount that is spent on gifts, and then that gets complemented. Yeah, and when we talk about monetary gifts, they go in one direction.
Yeah, no kidding.
Okay, so
And I'm at a point, to be fair, I'm at a point where I say, I don't want or need anything.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
And if there's something small that I think I might like, then I won't be shy to say, you know what, okay, you guys can all contribute, and this is something I can use, as a tool or whatever.
I used to ask for world peace every year. Just get me world peace.
What are you-
Finally, they got me a T-shirt that had a big peace sign in the front and world peace on the back.
those are
what you
pros.
wanted.
I got what I
Those
wanted.
are Christmas pros.
So
They know what they're doing.
I finally got my world peace, which is perfect.
You secretly wish you were Miss America.
So if you give cash, is that a
I
cop
shaved my
out?
legs.
A cop-out?
Yeah, I mean, for
I don't
for
think-
good friends. Or, I mean,
I don't
people
think
close
it's a
to you.
cop-out, and I'll tell you why. I think that most of the people I know will tell you that they have so many things in their homes that they don't need, no longer use.
Exactly.
The last thing they want is to add to that. It becomes hoarding after a while.
Okay.
It does.
But the flip side of that, though, is isn't it supposed to be like real gift shopping should be? You should be putting some thought into it, putting your heart into
That's
it.
the nice
right?
thing- nice way to
right?
do
Isn't
it.
that the way it should be?
It
Ideally?
should be. But imagine how much time. So you talked about your work Christmas
Christmas
party
and the
stuff and all of
holiday,
that,
the
and everyone
things-
was frazzled,
Yes.
and no one's got any time.
So yeah, exactly.
So look at the pressure that you're now putting on everyone to say, okay, so let's say you have a family of, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 members in your family. You have extended family. You have close friends. Maybe that gift list now becomes 10, 12, 15 people. Now, for those 10, 12, 15 people, you have to think of each individual. What would this person like in this price range that I can afford?
Yeah.
And now which store is going to have this? Where am I going to get it? How many different places do I have to go?
It's impossible.
But now, Nuran, you have
It's
Amazon.
impossible to do.
You
Look
have
at the
Amazon.
stress.
Yeah,
You have
I know.
Amazon.
This is it.
No, you do have Amazon. You're right.
yeah.
But you still,
It is,
they
it
don't
is.
have everything.
No, it's like Pat said. Don't need anything.
It's ridiculous. I don't know how many ties have you accumulated over the years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? Or how
Back
many
in the
pairs
day,
of
yes.
how many pairs of slippers and how many jammies and how many and by the way, when it comes to clothes, kids reach a certain age where they're not going to accept just any
No,
item of
exactly.
clothing you give them. They're
No.
very particular about their choices.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
I agree.
So that's why money becomes a substitute.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me too. It's like I need the right T-shirt.
Yeah.
Yes, you do. And you choose very well, I might add. Very, very well.
Rock on, baby.
Absolutely.
Cash is always
So,
king.
so guys,
Jimmy.
I want to come back to something we briefly touched on earlier, which is that what we've been discussing about holidays losing their meaning and the impact of consumerism largely applying to Christian holidays. Why Christian holidays and not holidays of other faiths?
Because the Christian holidays are more out there than the other holidays.
What do you mean by out there?
Like Ramadan and stuff like that. It's not, it's more visible for some reason,
In Western civilization.
Yeah.
Yeah, where consumerism is rampant. So when
So-
consumerism is connected to a holiday, I think it became more. How can I say it? It was easier, or it was easier to kind of link it to a Christian holiday because those were the holidays that were being celebrated. And now, if you wanted to link commercialism to one of the holidays, well, you would do it to a Christmas or, to an Easter even, and a Valentine's Day and whatever else you can get, so you can sell stuff.
Yeah, but something interesting happened along the way because, with the exception of Christmas, I believe that society have continued to refer to other holidays or high holidays by their designated name. I heard Easter earlier. It could be Passover. It could be Ramadan. It could be any number of holidays. Mm-hmm. But somewhere around Christmas time, we've substituted the word holidays generically for Christmas.
Because of the wokes.
So it's interesting because we discussed wokeism in one of our episodes. And if you look at the origins of wokeism,
Much different.
the use of the term happy holiday, and this may come as a surprise to you, predates wokeism
Yeah.
Oh, it's because
by hundreds of years.
we
Hundreds of years.
didn't have a name back then, but
So from what I was able to look into, the term happy holidays dates back a minimum of a few hundred years to as much as 400 years. So that's an awful long time.
But that, I think for the longest time, was used interchangeably. Happy
Yes.
holidays.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden, maybe
Yes.
10, 15 years
I
ago,
agree with
the
Dominic.
wokeism came in.
For inclusiveness purposes.
Exactly.
Right.
So I remember, I think it was just used interchangeably. But now,
It became a statement as opposed
Exactly,
to, Happy
exactly.
Holidays, Merry Christmas was the same. Yeah, I agree. It wasn't a big deal. It was never a big deal.
Well, you say 10 or 15 years. I'm going to
Maybe
say
more.
it's quite a bit more than that.
maybe.
Quite a bit more.
Yeah, we're older than we look.
Speak for yourself.
So
I will.
So why for Christmas?
Okay. Why? Because it is embedded in the calendar and in terms of,
Which calendar?
it's statutory holidays.
Well, but statutory holidays in Western civilization
Yeah, that's what I mean.
are based on Christian faith and the Gregorian calendar.
That's,
Yeah.
that's what I
And
mean.
the stock markets, the largest stock
Exactly.
markets are closed on those
So-
days and so on.
So that's why, it's,
So the world stops
Yeah.
on Christian holidays from the Gregorian calendar.
Western.
Western, yeah. That's it.
Yeah. And I think, that's where the starts from there because it's so embedded, and and everything latches on. In terms of.
But what about the large scale tradition of gifting that's related to Christian holidays?
Well, again, it has Christian holidays, or are we talking about Christmas?
Are we saying that one of the ways Christian holidays are distinct from other holidays is this gift giving, this major gift giving?
That wasn't
tradition?
how it started.
Well, because
Like 500 years ago, I don't think you'd have people.
Well, I mean, he gave the example of Jesus at the heart of
because
Christmas.
so people
the shepherds bearing gifts.
So people of Christian faith would tell you that the gift giving tradition has its roots in that particular event. They came bearing gifts for Jesus Christ.
It wasn't the shepherds.
It was the kings.
For everyone else,
Then the shepherds piled on.
for everyone else, they could give a damn. It's just an opportunity for gift giving. And marketers have seen to it that everyone is indoctrinated with
agree.
this notion of
That's one of the
you
distinguishing-
give gifts this time of year.
and Santa Claus.
Look, they do it for all the holidays now. Valentine's Day, Halloween. It's all about, commercialization.
Yeah, but Valentine's Day
Right.
is not a holiday, is it?
Well, it's not a holiday, but
Ask Diane.
it's used, to,
I know we don't edit, but maybe we need to change
It's
that
used-
policy. What do you guys think?
No.
Sorry, Dominic.
well, it's used to sell chocolates and flowers and restaurant reservations and hotel reservations.
Every event in Western society, and I would say led by America, has become an opportunity to encourage spending
Absolutely.
on the part of consumers. Graduation,
Absolutely.
Including Thanksgiving.
right?
Black Friday.
Every event.
Yeah.
70% of the economy is gift giving or consumerism.
Okay.
So,
But
yeah,
is it, okay?
absolutely.
But do we agree that it seems to be much more prevalent in Christmas? It's much more associated with Christmas and much more associated with Christian holidays than it is for other holidays, or no?
Yes,
Yes, of
but
course.
but I want to change things up and maybe ask another question. Okay, so around the table, would you all want to reverse or rewind a few hundred years and come back to a simpler time when it was just about family and get-togethers versus this ridiculous consumerism?
Yes.
If you could, would you want to?
Absolutely.
I think you can find the right balance. There's nothing wrong with giving somebody a gift, kids gifts. Just find the right balance.
So let me ask it a different way then.
Yeah.
So you're saying that there's nothing wrong with finding that balance. What if the balance that you find does not agree with the people on your list or the people close to you? Meaning you feel that it's good to get a small little gift or whatever, but that person was expecting something more because the expectation has been set by society. And then the rifts that can develop between people, between
but
friends,
you
between family
negotiate.
members.
You negotiate this.
Tough
You
titties.
talk about it. You negotiate something.
No, but,
that's acceptable to everybody in the family.
I don't think it works that way.
But the reason I'm bringing it exactly. So the reason I'm bringing it up is this whole the cyclone that's wrapped around Christmas right now with all of the consumerism, the rampant consumerism, all of that leads to certain feelings and things and rifts between people, expectations that haven't been fulfilled, all of that. That's why I asked the question, wouldn't it be better if we were somehow to undo consumerism from Christmas and keep it as a family get together, as a way to celebrate friends, get-togethers.
Share a nice meal.
Exactly.
I don't
Good conversation.
I
with
don't
you.
think you can frame it that way.
Yeah.
Because the simple notion or idea that you can remove consumerism from one particular event when we live in a society that is all about consumerism, I think is naive.
No, I'm not saying it's going to be possible. I'm just saying, wouldn't it be nice? Would you
think-
all not agree that
I
it's
don't
a
think
better way?
I don't think it would work.
Right.
I don't think
Of course it wouldn't work.
I
I think it
you
would
would
work.
have.
Why wouldn't it
I
work?
think you would have to erase
It would work.
or tone down consumerism
Yes, that's what we're talking about.
in society before you can contemplate
I think.
tackling it from a specific holiday or event.
Or keep it out.
No,
You're
no,
not
I-
able to keep it out.
No, Durant, it would work because we're underestimating the overwhelming desire by most people to simplify things.
Exactly.
I would hope so.
Yeah,
I would
I agree.
I really believe that. I really do.
I
Because
agree with you.
usually, again, this whole pendulum thing, right? I think the pendulum swung so far into the consumerism side that people are going to
And
be
it's
fed
not
up at a certain
and
point.
it's not about the money.
No.
It's just, the trouble.
Well, it is about the money to a lot of people
Yeah,
as well.
it
No,
is too, but,
I think again, human nature is at the root of it. It wouldn't be what it is today if human nature was different.
Pat, I think
It's a show-off thing. It's
not.
It speaks to human needs and wants. I mean, it's
But if we're saying, okay, the theory we're talking about, it's very theoretical.
we're so, as a society, we're so far beyond.
You think we're past that?
Oh my gosh, yes.
Well,
Yes.
I disagree.
I have some hope. I mean, shit.
Really?
I disagree.
Look at in the last 10 years.
We've done it.
Look at in the last 10 years alone, out how many new payment methods have been introduced to Western society.
Yeah,
Just in the last 10 years.
buy now, pay later.
Why? Why?
Yeah,
To facilitate and
Spending.
encourage more spending.
Okay, but what we're talking about, Pat, is
that pendulum ain't swinging back.
no, but Pat, what we're talking about is if we were to do a reset. This is what we're talking about. If we were to do a reset and go back and started off, in a different way, with less consumerism, with no gifts, and just putting the emphasis on quality time with the people that you care about and enjoying each other's company. That's what we're talking about.
No.
Do a reset.
So you do a reset, and then it's just a question of time before it reverts back to what it is.
If the rules are established and everybody agrees to them, we've done it. It works.
Yeah.
Well,
each
how does it
family-
work? I don't understand.
Well, we've set we established rules, what gifts and up to what age and whatever, and then we just
Well, you're talking about your
examples that-
family.
yeah.
That's
others,
not
Pat?
representative of society.
But there's more of that. There's more of
No, there isn't.
I think.
No, there isn't.
Well,
There's a lot of people that I know. They're not a majority for sure, but I know people that are having this conversation and trying to simplify it and
I
bring
would
back the
tell you-
meaning to the celebration.
I would tell you that for most people who are changing their practices, and I'm not saying present company included, most people who are changing their practices around gift giving are doing so because financially they can no longer afford to do what they were once doing. That's the main reason.
Yeah.
It's not because they look to return to a simpler time where it's more about celebrating family.
It's a mix.
That's a fair.
I'm just
no,
telling you, across society,
Yeah,
it's mostly a question of affordability.
Well, whatever the provocation or the reason, if it leads to the same end result.
To your point, I would say that the flip side of this, where people are going to start treating it more as a Christian or as a as a religious holiday, I don't think it's going there either. So, yeah, I kind of agree with you, unfortunately.
but no, what we're talking about those.
Why, unfortunately?
Because it's sad. It's a sad. It's a sad reflection on society.
It
Really,
is what it is.
Yeah, but we're saying is
but it's sad.
I think what we're hopeful.
I'm hopeful.
We're hopeful for being able to bring back the important pieces of the celebration. And the important pieces of the celebration is not the consumerism and everything we talked about.
What is
the
it?
important piece of celebration, as I said, quality time with the people that you care about, being able to take a step back and reflect.
But not
be
in
at
the
peace
office,
with
right?
yourself.
So here's what I find ridiculous.
not with your office friends.
Here's what I find ridiculous about that statement. If what you just said is so meaningful,
Yes.
then
Thank you.
nothing prevents you on any given day or any given weekend to do just that.
Well, it should not
Nothing.
be. Yeah, it should not.
So you're looking for meaning in a day that has its origins in some faith-based celebration or observation as an excuse to get your family together.
It's also a tradition.
It's nonsense.
To me, tradition is very important. So there's also that part. You can't discount that. There's a tradition.
Tradition of what?
Well, Christmas.
But what is Christmas?
Well, for Catholics, well, I mean, it is the birth of Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
It's
church.
It's the church, going to midnight mass.
Ritual.
How many people do you think go to midnight?
Oh,
how many people who celebrate Christmas do you think go to midnight
Well,
mass?
I agree with you. It's all gone to shits.
I don't.
Well
what do you,
said.
what do you
Well
really
said,
think?
Dominic.
What do you really think, Dominic?
It's all gone to shit. Okay, so it's not a religious holiday anymore.
Okay,
I
so-
guess is what we're
so-
saying.
No, but look,
It
doesn't
kinda
have-
is.
It doesn't have to be religious per se, but it's there. Some people use it as an excuse or a reason or an opportunity. I should use that's the word.
Yeah.
To get together.
so-
To get together with
But,
family.
but not getting together at church.
No, not at church. I know that doesn't happen.
Very few people
I mean, I
that,
go.
that I'm aware of.
I go, but
Yeah. So what I think that we
But I'm
are
the
saying,
exception.
what we are saying
one of.
is number one. What we are saying is that yes, being respecting each other, having love for your family, and sharing that should not be just a holiday thing. Of course not. That should be our
but you see,
but I-
Aki,
our lifestyle.
Hold on, guys. I have another question.
Yeah.
Why do you think? And I may have asked this earlier, but I guess I didn't get the answer that satisfied my curiosity. Why do you think other faiths have remained truer to their traditions
because they're easier.
than Christians? They're what?
They're easier.
How are they easier?
Because it's more about faith, the ritual of faith, the tradition of faith. It doesn't. There's no layers of other responsibilities.
Well,
and
there's also
obligations and
sacrifice.
how
gifts.
can you say that?
Hang on, there's sacrifice associated with other religious holidays. Ramadan has sacrifice associated
Yeah,
with it.
fasting all day.
Right. There are a lot of the Jewish holidays have some restrictions that come with the holiday where
Well, restrictions. It's an observation.
and it's an observation and it takes something from you, meaning you have to give of yourself for that observation. Right? So it's more spiritual and it's more meaningful from a spiritual perspective rather than, hey, I'm going to give a bunch of gifts to people.
Isn't that a great template? That's a great
point,
template.
But my point is,
It's a great template.
people continue to respect those traditions
Right.
Yeah,
while
Because they're more faith-based versus commercial-based.
exactly.
And I think what's happened to your point and to answer your question at the same time is that some of the Christian religious holidays have been hijacked by commercialism and have been turned into an orgy of gift giving or time off or Easter egg hunts or whatever, and it's turned into something else for the sake of commercialism more than for anything else.
Very well
That's
said.
my opinion. Right? Whereas the other religions have stayed true to their own faith and to their own religion and have stuck to what the basis of it is, which is faith, giving of yourself, observance, self-reflection,
Humility.
all of these things
Peace.
that are what religions are supposed to do in theory, right? Which is to make you a better human being. Versus, hey, Christmas parties and office Christmas parties and getting drunk and making out with the secretary when
I did not say that for the record.
when no one's looking, right? So how many times? Anyway,
In the
whenever
nonprofit
everyone's
world, that
looking.
doesn't happen.
when everyone's
so
looking,
I wanted to get back.
Oh, stop it!
I wanted to get
Listen
back
to this guy.
I wanted to get back to the Aki comment about office parties, okay? Because we talked about religion, we talked about all this other stuff during the holidays. Okay, so I want to ask Aki specifically from a work perspective. What's the right way to deal with the holidays? What's the right formula to use so that people are still stay respectful? Because alcohol is now getting introduced to these workplace holidays where typically you're in
Are
an
being
office.
introduced?
Well, there's
Are introduced,
Yes.
right, for many, many years. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So why don't you describe some of the things you've seen in terms of Christmas parties past and how things should, not be?
Nothing very salacious here. I'm sorry to disappoint everybody. The nonprofit sector, we are good people.
No, please.
We are well-grounded
Okay,
people.
cheap booze, okay?
We are
Cheap booze,
well-grounded
that's all I-
people. No, so the answer is, when you're the leader, I mean, you set the tone, right? And it's not about twisting people's arms. It's about bringing in some good humor to it. It's about looking at whatever workloads.
You had to ask.
Whatever workloads are on people's plates,
Oh my God.
Where's the violin?
letting them off the hook a little bit.
This is the smallest.
That's what it is. That's what it is. It's a lot of hand holding, and it's a lot of being inspiring and making people try to make people feel
Okay.
better.
I'm
And
sorry I asked.
Take the pressure off of people.
Yeah. Okay.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
If it's any consolation, you're not the only one who's sorry. You're right.
Okay.
Yeah. Decency, and decency.
Okay.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. So that's definitely not what I thought we were going to talk about.
What were you expecting? Me to
Well,
say?
I'm thinking about
What?
how Christmas parties bring out the worst in people because
they don't.
alcohol gets
Yeah,
introduced
but I think we've left that world like about 5 years ago at least. Where
Really?
we have
No.
like unlimited open bars at company Christmas parties. I don't think too many organizations are going down that road anymore.
Well, because HR has gone mad with the wokeness.
Well, okay.
Well, also because in the most litigious country in the world, it became a liability.
Sexual harassment. Yeah.
Either sexual harassment or people getting in car accidents.
Oh, that's right.
So you guys, for those from your working days, what your Christmas parties were frightfully chaotic?
Not in our case.
well,
Chaotic.
not chaotic.
What do you mean by
but
chaotic?
I mean, everything goes. Basically, everybody lets loose.
it's
and
not
they
an
over-
orgy, for God's
they
sake. You're
over-
there
some-
with your
They
spouses.
overdrink.
Not
Well,
always.
they overdrink. Are you
No.
worried about people going into the office and whatever?
Some
during the Christmas
companies,
party?
some companies or organizations, and interestingly, most law firms would not have Christmas parties or holiday parties that involve spouses and partners.
Okay, interesting.
Okay. And they became orgies.
That's because law firms,
And that's not an exaggeration.
typically they're all doing each other. Law firms. So
It's
that's-
not just law firms.
Yeah.
People are doing each other everywhere.
Yeah, you're right. But law
Okay.
firms.
You know how
Okay.
many uncomfortable moments there are at all Christmas parties or company functions when spouses are invited and it's like, why is this person looking you that way? Or why is
Why is she so close to
it's
you?
ridiculous?
Because you don't take your lunch to a restaurant. You know?
Yeah.
Okay, but you guys, okay, when you played your small violin, when I was explaining to you how I was doing it, tell me then how you guys did it. What are your stories around the office Christmas
I can't
celebration?
remember. That's how good they were.
I tried, Pat. I tried. You?
No, they were good. I mean, there was nothing any.
Okay.
can't think
Okay.
of-
So there you go. Small violin all around.
Any good drugs being?
No, even in the pharmaceutical industry.
That's it. All the good drugs.
You'd be surprised. No, look, I mean,
Yeah.
It also becomes a question of scale. If you're a member of a smaller organization,
yeah,
you may have a couple of people who
yeah,
you work for a larger organization, multiply.
that's it.
Okay, so do we have any advice for people going to office Christmas parties? From Aki?
Why? So
Be professional.
How would the advice that you give people going to Christmas parties differ from the advice you would give to people in general?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. Just,
Yeah.
be a human being.
Yeah.
You know what?
Be decent. Be professional.
No.
Don't embarrass yourself. And don't embarrass your.
Yeah, don't get
Don't
colleagues.
drink.
No.
How's that?
Well, the only way you can address that is by not serving alcohol.
yeah, that's true.
Oh, you
That's
limit
no
it.
fun.
You limit. I mean, this is.
Take, the
Some
best.
people don't need very much, Aki.
The best
No.
advice you can give
They'll
them.
bring it with them.
The best advice is don't get your meat where you get your bread.
Ah, okay.
I'd love to have seen some of your memos. Just
Oh yeah,
would have loved that.
I wasn't exactly the most popular guy with HR,
Really?
but I got the job done.
Okay.
There we go.
Okay.
Okay, so I guess on that note,
Yeah.
what do we think about Christmas and the holidays?
Reset.
Reset. So we're looking for
Where we're going back to true values and the
Okay.
human quality side of it.
Okay, and Pat, from your perspective,
That's his Christmas wish.
that's his Christmas.
That
wish.
ain't happening.
And okay.
That ain't happening.
So we're stuck with consumerism. It's here to stay.
Not only is it here to stay,
It's gonna
but what
grow.
we've seen over the course of the past number of years is that marketers, financial institutions, and others are going to come up with new, creative, innovative ways to make credit available to individuals so that they can spend to their heart's content. And they will, because it's a reflection of human nature. And human nature ain't changing.
Okay, that's dark, but and for you,
No,
Dominic?
I think we have the power to control that, to take it back, to scale down the commercialization of Christmas, to control it. We've done it. I think everybody can.
and from my perspective, I think that the younger generation,
Yeah.
especially the alphas and betas that are coming out now, and even Gen Zs, are a little bit more in tune with spending and aren't necessarily as crazy a spending generation as we've seen before. So I'm hopeful, I guess, like Dominic, a little bit, maybe more hopeful than you, Pat, and going down the path of going back a little bit to the olden days, that future generations are going to resist or find a way to kind of tone down the rampant spending. And I'm hopeful, again, it's all a hope, that they figure out a way to do it, because I think it's a hell of a trap, the way things are done right now with the commercialism and what's happening to people's finances because of it. So
I would say one of the things we are going to see in Western civilization, and so I don't agree with what you're suggesting, but what I do believe will happen in Western civilization is that people who are of Christian faith or heritage are going to represent a smaller percentage of the overall population. Mm-hmm. And we're going to see growth in members of other faiths mm-hmm. who aren't necessarily as likely to follow some of the same behavioral patterns mm-hmm. as we've seen around consumerism and Christmas.
Okay, so you think it's demographics that are going to?
I think that's going to have more of an impact.
Definitely.
I think you're underestimating the power of consumerism.
Okay.
No.
Well, I guess we shall see.
I'm not. I believe it's extremely powerful.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is that people of certain faiths, other than Christians, are better able to resist than Christians.
Oh, we see it here now. Christmas tree sales are down significantly.
There you go. Okay.
All right. Anything else?
Merry Christmas.
And happy holidays. Happy holidays.
All inclusive.
One, two, three.
Merry Christmas from the Romeos.
All right, guys, that was a blast.
Thank you.
To our viewers and listeners, all the best, regardless of how you celebrate and what it is you celebrate. We wish you all the best, health, happiness, this time of year and always. Look forward to seeing you again next week.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.